Dr. Chandler and dear friends from Minerva University, and also Professor Wang, Professor Lin, and also a lot of good friends. Good afternoon. It's my great pleasure to be here to welcome you to the forum on digital literacy in higher education, which is organized by the Office of Future NTU Initiative. We launched the Future NTU Initiative in 2019 when we recognized that the education in our university needs to evolve and to adapt. When we said to evolve, we said we meant to tear down the walls that has been long-standing in our education system, including the walls between the different disciplines, between the classrooms, between the campus and the industry, and also between the different the learning in different geographic areas. And also when we said to adapt, a large part of it is to adapt to the new technology, especially the digital technology, which is transforming every aspect of our lives, including how we learn, how we communicate, how we work, and how we play. So as educators, I think we should take this opportunity, leverage this opportunity to enrich the teaching and learning in our classroom. And as educators, we should also prepare our students for the digital world. And that would include how to use and how to understand the digital information and how to evaluate and create the digital content. So that's why we want to promote digital literacy in the campus. And in today's forum, we want to discuss what has been done, what could be done, and what are the challenges when we are promoting the digital literacy in the university. And we are very fortunate to invite a few speakers and experts joining us in this forum. Especially, I'd like to extend my warmest welcome to our friends from US, UK, Hong Kong, for traveling long distance joining us. We know the Minerva University is very well known for its innovation in higher education. They focus a lot on problem-solving skills, critical thinking, and they also have a global immersion program that exposes students to different cultures and perspectives. So when it comes to digital literacy, I think we're all very interested in learning your Minerva approach. And we also have Professor Wang from National Central University, and also Professor Lin from National Zhenji University, and also, of course, our Professor Zhang from National Taiwan University. And each of them will share their experiences and also their university's unique approach in digital literacy. So finally, I hope that today's dialogue and discussion will generate new ideas, will create new collaboration opportunities, which will then push us forward for a more innovative and adaptive higher education system in Taiwan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and it is a great pleasure to be here today to share with you Minerva's, what I like to call, purpose-driven educational model. I'll be going through why we developed our unique model and give an overview of what we teach, how we teach, and share how our model has positively impacted our students' learning and careers. But first, I want to provide some context about Minerva. In a few short years, 10 to be exact, Minerva University has gone from innovative design to small pilot to US accreditation, with now over 1,300 undergraduate, graduate students, and alumni from 100 countries. I know that pales by the numbers at NTU, but for us, it's a large number now. And it's a trajectory without precedent. Our undergraduate students live and learn together in vibrant cities across the globe while pursuing a rigorous academic program. And our graduate students learn while conversing across the 5 continents that they're from and during in-person immersion weeks. I've been at Minerva for 9 years, first as Dean of Natural Sciences, I'm a molecular biologist by training. And then as Provost and Chief Academic Officer for the past 6 years. It has been incredibly rewarding to start a new university, essentially with a clean slate, and to hire amazing faculty and staff, and to intentionally develop our unique model. We have reimagined and redesigned every aspect of our educational program, which I hope to highlight in my presentation today. Simply stated, I believe Minerva University is the most global, immersive, ethical, and purposeful university in the world. In 2023 and 2022, we were fortunate to be ranked as the world's most innovative university by World Universities with Real Impact, an organization whose partners include the United Nations Institute of Training and Research. In addition to the #1 most innovative university, we received the #1 ranking in their category of industrial application, which acknowledges our university's unique academic and experiential learning curriculum, which I'll touch on today. But before I talk about what we do, let me provide some context about why we have developed our unique model. Our mission statement conveys the why for Minerva University. Let me read it to you. To develop problem solvers, entrepreneurs, and wise leaders from around the globe, and to weave them together as one community to address the greatest challenges facing humanity. We want to provide the world with more system thinkers, leaders, and innovators capable of understanding and addressing the most complex challenges our world faces. By developing these individuals, equipping them with the skills to make consequential decisions, we aim to effect positive change for hundreds, thousands, and maybe eventually millions of lives. So who are our students? Though they are highly diverse in their interests and backgrounds, our students do share some attributes in common. They're intellectually curious, deeply driven, and they think globally and live globally. And they're inspired by the common challenge of wanting to help make the world a better place. We teach these amazing students using a unique approach. And I want to take a minute or two on this. And you'll see this slide several times when I try to come back and reinforce it. What we teach, how we teach, where and how our students learn has been uniquely designed. The key themes, and I really want to emphasize this, are the combination, and it's the combination of practical knowledge, virtual active learning, global immersion, and project-based learning. I'm not aware of any other institution that combines all of these components into every single program they offer. And today I will touch on each of these 4 components. And we use this combined approach both for our residential undergraduate program and our graduate programs. Let me start by sharing what's common to all of our programs, and that is what we teach, what we like to call practical knowledge, a novel skills-first approach. For both our undergraduate and graduate programs, we intentionally teach and our students continually practice throughout their studies a set of learning outcomes that are interdisciplinary and skills-based. And I will call these outcomes today foundational learning outcomes. We introduce these 75 outcomes in the first year of our programs, both for our undergraduate and our graduates. And we group the learning outcomes into 4 buckets. We call them core competencies. And I'm just going to share and give you a little hint of this don't worry, I'm not going through 75 learning outcomes with you today, I promise. But I'm going to just give you an example so you can get a sense and a taste of what we teach. So let me start with critical thinking. We teach 28 learning outcomes that help our students learn to think critically, evaluate claims, analyze data, and weigh decisions. I'm giving you one example of one of these learning outcomes that we call evidence-based. Pretty important concept. Identify the information needed to support an argument and an hypothesis effectively. Let's now look at another competency, creative thinking. We teach 17 learning outcomes for this core competency that helps our students learn to facilitate discoveries, identify and solve problems. An example learning outcome, break it down. Organize problems into tractable components and design solutions. A third core competency, incredibly important, effective communication. We teach 10 learning outcomes in this category that help our students learn to communicate effectively by writing clearly, presenting confidently. An example learning outcome, audience. Tailor oral and written work by considering the perspective of the people receiving it. And then the next core competency we'll look at is effective interaction, last but most certainly not least. And in this category, we teach 20 learning outcomes that helps our students learn to interact effectively, work in teams, negotiate. An example, differences. Identify and learn to utilize people's different skills, abilities, traits, attitudes, and beliefs. So let me summarize this little part of my talk. And I want to emphasize that these skills that we teach, these 75 learning outcomes, these 4 core competencies, are applicable to all careers, to all paths that our students choose to follow. Summarize again, think critically. Be able to evaluate claims, analyze data, and weigh decisions. Think creatively. Solve problems, facilitate discoveries. Communicate effectively, write clearly, and present confidently. And interact effectively, negotiate, and work well in teams. So let me summarize how we, emphasize the way that we incorporate these 75 learning outcomes into our programs. So as I've mentioned, they're introduced in the first year. But what's really important is it doesn't end there. The students have to continue to use these learning outcomes in all of their subsequent courses, and when I talk later about the global rotation and their immersive activities, when they're pursuing their experiential learning as well. And they do this through spaced, deliberate practice and regular formative feedback throughout all of our courses. Once mastered, and it takes a good amount of time to master these, our students have a systemic framework through which they will approach and effectively tackle complex problems and be able to make informed decisions in any field or path they pursue. So now I would like to move to another aspect that's shared across all of our programs, and that's how we teach. Every class at Minerva University is a small dialogue-based seminar conducted on our virtual learning forum environment called Forum. Every course has 20 or fewer students. If we have more students for a particular course, we have multiple sections taught by a different faculty member. So each course has 20 or fewer students with a highly trained faculty member, and everyone is in the front row and actively engaged throughout the 90-minute class on the virtual synchronous platform. This is a screenshot here on the left of me teaching a first-year course a few years ago. And next to it is a picture of some of our students in a common room in a res hall taking their classes on the computer. There are numerous benefits to using the virtual synchronous platform. And so I want to spend just a few minutes emphasizing that now. We don't lecture at Minerva. I'm standing up here talking at you, and I'm feeling pretty silly about that, because if this was a Minerva class, I would be fired. But I didn't think you'd do a whole bunch of prep work before coming to the seminar, so we're not running this as an active learning seminar. But we don't lecture at Minerva. What we do is we ask our students to gain the information that they need to participate in class before they come to class. And we provide them with readings, videos, study guides, TI hours, office hours for the faculty, and expect them to come to class having gained what they could, not mastered it, of course, but the material that we're going to discuss that day in each class. And in the classroom, they use that information again, and that again is important, to deepen and reinforce their learning through discussion, debate, collaborative work, purposeful reflection, and real-time feedback from the faculty member and the other students in the class. This is a screenshot from one of our master's classes, and the students are actively engaged with a poll that they had recently answered. Everyone can see the answers to each, the instructor can set the technology up so that everyone can see each other's answers once the answers have been submitted, and that really helps, obviously, with an engaging conversation going forward. So let me spend just a couple of minutes talking a little bit about our pedagogy, because it's really the virtual learning platform is the conduit for how we teach. It's not the end of all end alls. So every class session that we teach in every course is carefully designed, employing the principles of how people learn best. And I don't have time to go through all of these today. That would be pretty boring, I think. But I want to illustrate a couple of concepts. So key aspects are encouraging students to do what's here in bold. I think you can sort of see that's in bold. Think it through and make and use associations. The concept of think it through is pretty simple. The more you think something through, paying attention to what it is you're doing, the more likely you're going to remember it later. Okay, pretty straightforward. Similarly, the concept of make and use associations are also straightforward. Associations help us to organize materials so that it is easy to store in our memory and help us with hooks to recall that information and bring it back up from our memory. And we incorporate ways to encourage students to think it through and make and use associations, and as we design every single class session that we teach. Let me start by, let me just give you a couple of examples. First, let's talk about the generation effect. The generation effect is a phenomena where information is better remembered if it is generated from one's own mind rather than simply read. Numerous studies have revealed that generated information is easier to recall than if you've just read something. And I'm sure you've experienced this yourself. Simply going through the process of recalling information, especially when effort is required, strengthens your memory for that information. And thus, we regularly ask our students to generate information for themselves in the classroom through their discussions and reflections to help deepen their learning. The second example I'll give you is chunking. Most of you, I think, are probably familiar with chunking. It's the process by which individual pieces of a set of information are bound together to create a meaningful whole that enables one to retrieve it easier from memory. And studies have shown that 3 or 4 items in a chunk is optimal. So we think about this, we think about the concept of chunking as we design our classes, organizing our materials into manageable units to facilitate learning. So those are just a couple of examples, and I'm happy to take questions later on other aspects of this. I'd like to share with you now a quote from a man named Tom Vander Ark, who in the US is an advocate for innovations in learning. He summed up, I think, very succinctly our approach in a Forbes article that he wrote in 2021. And I'll read this to you. Post-secondary education has much to learn from Minerva's intentional skill-building system that includes well-defined learning goals, active learning, quality feedback, and repeated application. I'll also share with you a quote from one of our students. And she said, "It's so different from sitting in a lecture theater. You learn as you do, not learn by rote. And I have learned so much more in the past year than in any year of my life." The student is Jade Bowler. She's from the UK. She graduated in May of 2023. She made this statement for an article in The Guardian after her first year at Minerva. So the summer after her first year, when she had been, during that year, had been learning those 75 learning outcomes I was talking to you about through our active learning classes. So as I've mentioned, we use virtual synchronous teaching for our active learning. We use this virtual platform. But the pedagogy that we use and how we implement can be used in small seminar in-person classes, okay? And it is. I mean, we didn't invent active learning. We're just applying it in a huge way. And so I'm often asked, why do you use the virtual synchronous platform? And there's a couple of answers, and I thought I would just share a few of these points with you. First, as you'll learn in a few minutes, our students travel the world. And it's expensive to set up campuses all over the world, okay? Some universities do it, but we chose not to. And so by using our virtual synchronous platform, our students can take their classes on their computer, no matter which rotation city they're in and what they're doing in the city. And similarly, our faculty can live anywhere they want in the world. Hong Kong, South Africa, Thailand, the US, Canada, Mexico, Brazil. We have our faculty live many places around the world and are able to teach our students in a relatively low-cost way. Another really important component is that the virtual platform, every class is recorded, and the students and faculty can view those recordings afterwards. And it's associated with assessment tools that enables really readily providing feedback to the students in the classroom in a much more facile way than what would happen in an in-person classroom. So that's another key feature of the virtual virtual system. Okay, so what I'd like to do now is shift from how we teach to showing you how we incorporate this in our master's and our undergraduate program. So I'll just briefly show you how we embed these in this program. And I'll start with the master's program because I'll keep that pretty short and spend more time on our undergraduate program. We teach a master's program in decision analysis. It's an unusual name and it's an unusual program. Our graduate students are dynamic professionals from a variety of fields, and they achieve their goal of improving their ability to make decisions and be effective leaders through completing this program. As with our undergraduate, all our courses are live, synchronous, small seminars, which enables our working professional students from around the world to pursue a master's degree where they live and work, and to meet their work and family responsibilities. So our students are live in classrooms together, but they're remote. Our global student body, to date from 24 different countries, brings multiple perspectives in the discussions in the classes, and they're very rich. We also offer in-person immersion weeks each year. I think the next one is going to be in London. Thank you, Matthew, for helping to organize that, which helps to further build the global community. You may be interested to know that we have more students from Taiwan in this program than from any other country in Asia. And in fact, our Taiwanese students are the second, US, there's more students, and Taiwan is second in the total number of students. So we love our Taiwanese students. So our students learn to apply these foundational learning outcomes. They're, of course, taught a bit differently to working professionals than to our first-year undergraduates. But the same outcomes are really powerful for all of us. And in fact, as we were developing the undergraduate program after the first year, we thought, wow. I mean, so many of us that were working on it thought, I wish somebody had taught us this. I mean, I had to learn all of this, by hook and crook. And so we decided to develop the master's program. So they learn these foundational learning outcomes across multiple disciplines and pursue project-based assignments, often pulling in projects and problems from their work environment that they want to work on with this program. They further develop functional skills in data analysis, modeling, research design, which enables them to do an original thesis. The practical knowledge courses, where we teach these foundational learning outcomes, is taught in the first year. It's part-time, but it takes 12 months. And students who complete that get a certificate in decision analysis. Most of the students decide to continue on and get a master's. They then take 2 additional analytical courses to further develop their skills in data analysis, modeling, and research design. And they develop an original thesis project that offers novel insights to inform a substantial decision and allows for expert-level application of their course learnings. And then, of course, they can participate in 2-week-long immersion weeks in person to apply what they've learned in real-world contexts. And the latter part of the program takes an additional 9 months. So now I want to switch to the undergraduate curriculum and just highlight how we incorporate and embed what I've been talking to you about into our program. In the first year, the students take what we call cornerstone courses, which are the courses that are designed to introduce these foundational learning outcomes, and they begin to develop their 4 core competencies of critical thinking, creative thinking, interactive effectively, communicating effectively. These are quite diverse courses. They're exposed to a lot of fields in that first year. And toward the end of that first year, they then decide what area they think they want to major in. And in their second year, they explore and select a major, and they take their major courses from 1 or 2 fields across arts and humanities, business, computational sciences, natural sciences, and social sciences. In the third and fourth year, our students dive more deeply into their major and complete their capstone project, which is a unique contribution to a student's field. It's an 18-month endeavor. And our students in Taipei are in their 4th year, so they just submitted their penultimate capstone draft last night when the Wi-Fi went out. So that was interesting. Okay, so what's really important is that our students pursue this curriculum as they're living with their classmates. Usually their classmates in any given cohort of 170 students, there's represented 50 or 60 countries. They live and learn with those classmates in multiple vibrant cities around the world. San Francisco, Seoul, Berlin, Hyderabad, Buenos Aires, Taipei, and London. In partnership with NTU, and we love our partnership with NTU, our fourth-year students, as I just mentioned, are here in Taipei this semester. And we had students in Taipei all of last year. We had second-year students in fall and fourth-year students who then graduated last spring. Our students absolutely love NTU, Taipei, and Taiwan, and we're so fortunate to have this partnership, so thank you for that. The global rotation is a key essential component of Minerva's model, as it exposes our students to new people, places, and perspective in every city that they live in. So I want to spend a little bit more time on this. When they're doing their rotations, they are able to meet new people. So they spend 4 months in a city. They meet new people, discover new places, get a whole new perspective relevant to each city. They collaborate with their peers, challenge ways of thinking, explore site-specific issues, and come up with actionable solutions sometimes. They develop an appreciation for different culture and political contexts by living in these diverse global cities, especially living with students from 50 other countries who are going to interact and react to this different environment in different ways. It deepens their understanding of important issues, and they deepen their understanding of important issues by working with local people and organizations. And we encourage them to get involved with real-world projects, initiatives, and organizations, and to take that practical knowledge that they've been learning and to apply it in real world to realistic issues that are in the cities that they're living. So we call this the project-based learning at Minerva. And I'll just briefly explain a little bit about some of these activities. So our students can optionally, except in their first year in San Francisco, it's required, but in subsequent years, they have the option of participating in civic projects. And these are where they will volunteer with local organizations to tackle a project of mutual interest. And these organizations can include NGOs, government entities, companies, etc. And they cross multiple sectors because our students are interested in a broad breadth of areas. So it could be in the arts, media, it could be in design, sustainability and climate change is popular, public health, technology, and social justice are really common civic projects that the students are engaged in. Another important component to get our students out there and immersed in their cities is what we call location-based assignments. Every course at Minerva has a location-based assignment, one of the assignments each semester for that course. And the faculty work with the student life team members in the cities to design these assignments, to connect what they're learning in the classroom with things that are going on in the city they're living in. And this happens in every city. So this year, this semester, we have students, our first-year students are in San Francisco, our second-year students are in Seoul, Korea, our third-year students are in Buenos Aires, Argentina, and as I've told you, our fourth-year students are here in Taipei. So I thought I'd just give you a couple of examples, one for each category of location-based assignments. I'm not going to tell you the whole assignment, but I'm going to tell you what the students did in the city. So the student life teams have grouped these, design their activities, and they categorize them into 5 categories: NGOs, nature, murals and urban art, business, and tech. So this semester in Taipei, students explored the NGO landscape, working with NGOs involved with migrant support. In nature, they visited the Taipei Botanical Garden. For the mural and urban arts, one of the courses had them do the walking tour of old Taipei. Of course, they can't just walk around. They have to do stuff while they're walking around and then write up a whole assignment on it. For business, they explored Louisa's coffee business and Taiwan's coffee culture, which I have not yet had a chance to explore, but I'm looking forward to it. And for technology, they visited AppWorks Accelerator and met with several startup founders. So those just give you some examples. Our students also do local internships and in the semester, and then also do internships over summers. And a number of our students volunteer in research labs. And again, I'd really like to thank our professors and laboratories here at NTU who have hosted a number of our students in natural sciences over the last 18 months. Really appreciate that. So Minerva University doesn't give exams. Yeah, we don't give exams. But we work the heck out of our students, and we do measure their learning. And we do it through project-based assignments. Location-based assignment is just one of several assignments they'll do for any given course. And these assignments are interdisciplinary, typically interdisciplinary in subject matter to strengthen our students' problem-solving skills. These are with people from diverse cultures and backgrounds, which develop skills for our students to learn to work across differences. And these occur, as you know, in multiple cities around the world. And sometimes we have students in multiple cities that are in the same course, which really is rich and feeds this in really interesting ways. And that provides context and perspective on the world's most complex problems. We also do project-based learning through what we now call Minerva Labs, Minerva University Labs. We don't actually have labs. I'm a scientist and so molecular biologist, so these don't really look like molecular biology labs, but I want to describe them to you because they're pretty cool. So we do this to expand the global reach of hands-on learning. We've launched a series of these student-focused labs that provide immersive research and project opportunities. And these are available in the summer, typically, in person, and then they do activities during the school year remotely. So the 3 labs that we ran this summer, this past summer, Sustainability Lab, which is a collaboration with Earth University in Limon, Costa Rica. We had an artificial intelligence lab in collaboration with SoftBank in Tokyo, Japan, and a music, health, and wellness lab in San Francisco. And we're currently planning, our president is actively working on fundraising so that we can expand these labs. And we're looking at areas such as global diplomacy and conflict resolution. With our students coming from 100 different countries, every geopolitical crisis is really interesting at Minerva. So this is an area we'd really like to expand, as well as in education and innovation. So in my, you've seen this before, I'm going to show it to you again. In my presentation today, I've tried to give you a brief overview of Minerva's unique approach by describing what we teach, how we teach, and where and how our students learn. As I said, and I only want to emphasize again, to my knowledge, no other institution combines these 4 components within every single program we offer. And we believe that this model, the combination of all 4 things, forms the basis of why our students have an unprecedented ability to productively tackle complex problems that span multiple fields. And I'll now share some example of our undergraduate student outcomes. Our students have achieved remarkable success, especially when you consider that Minerva is basically an unknown university well, we're not completely unknown, but relative to top institutions who've been around for hundreds of years. And yet our students are able to compete well with students from those institutions in postgraduate outcomes. So I feel really, really good about that. We graduate highly skilled, creative thinkers who can become leaders and who know how to work in a global environment and tackle real-life complex problems. So I'm showing here a few statistics. This data was collected last year around this time from our first 4 cohorts who graduated. Our first graduating class was in 2019, our 5th in 2023. We're currently running a survey again right now to update the data, but I don't have that data. So this is data from our first 4 cohorts. 97% of our students did at least one internship while they were a Minerva student. And some do multiple internships. And this really helps to prepare them for their postgraduate tasks, whatever they decide to do. 91% of our alumni are in full-time professional roles or continuing their education in graduate programs. 15% of the alumni are continuing their education in master's programs, doctorate programs, or professional programs. Most of our students are in the workforce. 12% of our alumni have founded or co-founded their current organization and secured significant startup funding. So we have a good number of entrepreneurial students as well. Let me just show you where our students are working and attending school. So the top part of this slide shows you a number of well-known companies from around the world where our students are working. They aren't all working in the US. Some of these companies are international and they're working in many different locations. The breadth of fields include finance, venture capital, banking, education, healthcare, biotech, media and publishing, consulting and think tanks. Our students actually have done incredibly well in that, which kind of makes sense given what they've been learning at Minerva. Marketing and advertising, software engineering, information technology, and artificial intelligence. I'm also sharing here some examples of the top institutions that our students are continuing their education in. Examples include highly ranked private institutions such as Harvard, Stanford, Princeton, and highly ranked US public institutions such as UC Berkeley, Cornell, Michigan. And also institutions in the UK, such as University of Cambridge, University of Oxford. Now I'd like to look at, just show you some examples of our entrepreneurial students. And I've pulled out 3 examples to share with you today. First, let's look at Seabound. So 2 of our alums from the class of 2019, so this was our first graduating class, Alicia Fredriksson from Sweden, Roja Nguyen from China, co-founded Seabound, which is a climate tech company building carbon capture equipment for the largest ships in the world. It's backed by Y Combinator, Lower Carbon Capital, and Eastern Pacific Shipping. They're working out of London. Really amazing. And Alicia just received the Forbes 30 Under 30 award for her work here. In our class of 2021, Ahmed Kamal and Bukle Yunaldi have developed hands-on lab. So Ahmad is the engineer, and he founded and built hands-on lab, which allows users to virtually access a robot and control scientific research equipment. And we actually use it in some of our classes, which is pretty cool, and it's also being used in some high schools. So together with Bukle, the pair submitted what they had been working on, this hands-on lab, to the education category in the 2021 Microsoft Imagine Cup, which is an international competition. It's in like 4 or 5 categories. They have over 100,000 applicants. And Ahmed and Bukle won the education category, which is really pretty cool. They're now trying to scale the lab, get additional funding to add additional instruments in scientific fields. Alberto Araneza is from our class of 2019. He founded Transcend Network, which is a startup incubator, fund, and support for early stage founders building the future of learning and work. Transcend Network has members from 40 countries, including 188 founders, and has raised $160 million to support their ventures. He also received a Forbes 30 Under 30 recognition. Some other recognitions that our students have received, fellowships by Kleiner Perkins, Schwartzman Scholars. I already mentioned Imagine Cup and Forbes 30 out of 30, 30 Under 30, excuse me. Also, Rhodes Scholarships and the Diana Award. So I'll highlight those two next. So Gal Rubin, who's from Israel, is pursuing a master's degree in international health and tropical medicine at Oxford University on a Rhodes Scholarship. As you know, the Rhodes Scholarship is one of the world's most prestigious awards that recognizes exceptional individuals and provides them support to attend Oxford University. Tuet Nguyen is not an alum. She's still a Minerva student. She will graduate in May of 2025, so she's currently in Buenos Aires. She won the Diana Award, which was created in memory of Diana, Princess of Wales, and is given to young people who have demonstrated exceptional levels of kindness, compassion, and service. And she received this award for her work in the educational sector through an organization she founded called My Work. Her initiative offers free academic tutoring, research training, and professional training in digital skills, as well as funding for educational resource for underprivileged schools, and has benefited thousands of students. You see this slide again? As I've tried to emphasize in my talk today, we believe it's the combination of what we teach, our practical knowledge, how we teach, the combination of our virtual active learning based on the science of how people learn best, along with project-based learning, and where our students learn through their global immersion that is so unique and impactful. And it's this combination that provides our students with their ability to productively tackle complex problems spanning multiple fields. Simply stated, I think Minerva University is the most global, immersive, ethical, and purposeful university in the world. And we're on our path to achieving our mission, which I shared with you earlier, to develop problem solvers, entrepreneurs, and wise leaders from around the globe, and to weave them together as one community to address the greatest challenges facing humanity. Thank you for your attention today.